Kevin Costner has never been the kind of star who demanded attention through noise or spectacle. His power has always come from something steadier, something deeply human. Whether he was playing a man searching for hope in Field of Dreams, standing with calm devotion in The Bodyguard, or reshaping cinema with the sweeping vision of Dances with Wolves, Costner carried a presence that felt grounded and real. Audiences trusted him, not because he seemed perfect, but because he felt familiar, like someone who understood longing, loss, and resilience. Behind the composed face Hollywood admired was a man who had lived through uncertainty, heartbreak, and repeated reinvention. Fame gave him success, but it never protected him from pain. Marriages ended, criticism turned harsh, silence followed applause, and life demanded that he keep moving forward even when it would have been easier to retreat. Now, in his 70s, Kevin Costner stands not as an untouchable icon, but as proof that endurance matters more than perfection, and that continuing to show up is sometimes the bravest thing a person can do. Childhood rooted in instability and unspoken grief. Kevin Costner was born on January 18, 1955, in Lynwood, California, into a working-class family that understood struggle as part of everyday life. His father worked exhausting hours repairing power lines, coming home worn down but determined to provide stability. His mother, a social worker, carried her own emotional weight, spending her days helping others through crisis before returning home to care for her family. Yet, beneath the routines of ordinary life, grief lived quietly in the background. 2 years before Kevin was born, his parents lost a newborn son, a tragedy that reshaped their household in ways that were never fully spoken aloud. Kevin sensed that sorrow even as a child, understanding that love could exist alongside fear, and that loss could create a kind of emotional distance. That early awareness taught him something profound. Life could change without warning, and strength often meant carrying pain silently. Growing up. Always moving and learning to adapt. Kevin's childhood was marked by constant relocation. His family moved repeatedly across California, chasing work and searching for stability that always seemed just beyond reach. Each move meant starting over, leaving behind friendships before they could deepen, stepping into new classrooms where he felt invisible. He was shy and reserved, rarely the center of attention, often more observer than participant. While other children formed lasting bonds, Kevin grew used to temporary connections, learning how to endure loneliness without complaint. Church choir became one of the few places where he felt briefly seen, where his voice mattered in a small but meaningful way. Those years shaped his resilience, teaching him patience, adaptability, and the ability to survive emotional uncertainty. By the time he reached adulthood, he had already learned how to start over again and again, a skill that would later define both his career and his private life. Choosing an uncertain dream. Over a predictable life after college, Costner initially followed the responsible path. He earned a degree in marketing and finance, secured a stable office job, and married his college sweetheart Cindy Silver. From the outside, his life appeared sensible and secure. But inside, something felt missing. The predictability of corporate life left him restless, disconnected from the deeper part of himself that longed for creativity and meaning. During his honeymoon, a chance conversation with actor Richard Burton became a turning point. When Kevin admitted his dream of acting, Burton encouraged him without hesitation. That moment gave him the courage to face what he had been avoiding. He left the safety of his job, knowing many would see it as reckless, and stepped into a future filled with uncertainty, guided only by faith in something he could not yet prove: rejection, poverty, and the long road of persistence. Hollywood did not reward Kevin Costner's courage with immediate success. Instead, it tested him relentlessly. He worked odd jobs just to survive, cleaning boats, driving trucks, and even leading tours of celebrity homes while struggling to afford his own rent. Casting calls ended in rejection, sometimes without him even being truly seen. He walked long distances to save money, endured cold nights in underheated apartments, and questioned his choices more times than he could count. Early roles brought little reassurance, and when scenes he filmed were cut entirely from the big chill, he watched the premiere knowing the audience would never know he had been there at all. Years passed in disappointment and quiet perseverance. What kept him going was not blind optimism, but endurance. He had learned as a child how to start over, and he refused to let failure become the final word. The breakthrough that opened the door. In 1985, after years of struggle, Costner's persistence finally began to pay off when he was cast in Silverado. This time, opportunity arrived with real visibility, and he stepped into it with the focus of someone who understood how rare such chances could be. Audiences noticed his quiet intensity, and Hollywood began to take note. Roles followed, including The Untouchables, where his restrained strength earned widespread acclaim. For the first time, he was no longer invisible. Recognition brought relief, but it also introduced a new kind of pressure. Expectations replaced obscurity, and now he had something to lose. Becoming a symbol of hope on screen. The late 1980s and early 1990s transformed Kevin Costner into more than a movie star. Films like Bull Durham connected him with sports fans, while Field of Dreams elevated him into a symbol of belief and redemption. His performance resonated deeply, reminding audiences of hope, second chances, and the quiet power of faith. The line, "If you build it, he will come," became part of cultural memory. Yet, Costner did not want to stop at acting. He wanted to tell stories that mattered, stories that carried emotional truth. That desire led him toward the greatest risk of his career. Defying Hollywood, with Dances with Wolves. In 1990, Costner directed and starred in Dances with Wolves, a project many studios dismissed as impractical. A long western, partially spoken in the Lakota language, defied every commercial expectation of its time. Production was difficult, financial pressure mounted, and Kevin invested not only money, but his reputation. Failure could have ended his career. Instead, the film became a triumph, winning 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. It validated his belief that honest storytelling still mattered. But success brought new weight. Scrutiny intensified, and every future project became a test he was expected to pass flawlessly. When fame turns into harsh judgment. At the height of his career, Costner faced public criticism that nearly broke him. Waterworld became a symbol of excess in the media, despite the genuine effort and danger involved in its production. Near-death experiences on set were ignored as headlines focused on mockery and budget overruns. Later, The Postman faced harsh reviews, damaging his reputation further. Hollywood's warmth cooled, offers slowed, and silence returned, this time louder than before. Yet, Costner endured as he always had. He returned with Open Range, a quiet film that restored respect and reminded audiences of his sincerity. Reinvention through Yellowstone and New Purpose. When many believed his era had passed, Costner found renewal through Yellowstone. As John Dutton, he embodied resilience, loyalty, and moral complexity. The role resonated deeply, making the series one of the most watched dramas on television. At an age when many actors slow down, Costner experienced reinvention. He used that momentum to pursue Horizon, a deeply personal project he funded largely himself. He no longer measured success only by applause, but by integrity. Risk no longer frightened him. Stagnation did. Love, marriage, and the cost of ambition. Costner's personal life carried the same tension as his career. His first marriage to Cindy Silver lasted 16 years and produced 3 children. Cindy supported him through rejection and obscurity, often carrying the weight of family life, while Kevin pursued his dream. As fame grew, so did distance. Constant travel and ambition strained their bond, and their divorce in 1994 was painful and public. Costner later acknowledged that success came with a cost he did not fully understand until it was too late. A second marriage and another lesson in balance. Costner later married Christine Baumgartner, with whom he shared nearly 2 decades and 3 children. For a time, their life offered stability. Yet, career demands resurfaced, and over time, distance grew. Their marriage ended in 2023, painful and public. Costner emphasized respect and co-parenting, once again facing the truth that ambition cannot replace presence. A legacy defined by endurance. Kevin Costner's life is not a story of uninterrupted triumph, but of persistence through loss, failure, and reinvention. He has risen, fallen, and risen again, carrying the lessons of each chapter. His legacy lies not only in awards or box office success, but in endurance, the ability to keep going when the world turns away. At this stage of life, he stands as proof that resilience matters more than perfection, and that showing up again and again can be the greatest courage of all.